You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Days fans. Alex Kiriakis may need some new love in his life very, very soon. He was just devastated to find out Theresa Donovan lied and wrecked his life, and he is definitely going to need some comfort. But what lovely lady in Salem is going to be the one to make this sexy but sad man feel all better? This is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I've got a few ideas about who might help Alex heal his broken heart. Number one, of course, we got to talk about Kristen DiMera, the most obvious choice of someone to let Alex Kiriakis cry on their shoulder is his most recent other lover, Kristen. It was Kristen who pushed him away, and between that and Theresa hopping in bed with Brady, that's why Alex proposed to Theresa. And now, you know, he may go to talk to Kristen, but she's not exactly the most sympathetic person in Salem or anywhere. But she did like having Alex warming her sheets, and she does know what it's like to deal with betrayal and heartbreak. But I think the most that Alex would get from Kristen is a physical outlet, not really any sort of emotional comfort. I mean, she's barely emotionally comforting to her own daughter, much less a guy that was basically a casual hookup. But if he's looking for a shoulder to cry on or advice on how to move forward and heal, Kristen DiMera would be the absolute worst person to turn to, but he might look to her just by default because she is his most recent lover aside from Theresa. Or maybe he just goes to Kristen to vent, and she would certainly enjoy hearing the tale of treachery, hearing all about the dirty deeds that Theresa did. It might make wicked Kristen giggle because Lord knows she's done plenty of horrible things. But I just don't think she's someone that Alex should turn to for a rebound or a romance, either one. Hey, if you're not following us already, please reach down, click subscribe. Okay, number two, this next lady is someone that Alex has not managed to have in his bed already. Although he's worked his way through a good swath of the single ladies in Salem as a hot single playboy with Kiriakis money to spend, she hasn't been in his bed. And remember, he had that three-way with Allie Horton and Chanel Dupree, but then Allie cheated with him, lost Chanel, and left town. Other lady he's had in his bed, he did the deed with Sloane Peterson and also Gwen Rizchak before he went and sought therapy for his man-slut ways. Somehow, though, he managed to miss shagging this one lovely lady in Salem. And of course, I'm talking about Ava Vitali. To be fair, most of the time that he was out doing his himbo thing, she was with Harris. So right now, though, Ava certainly needs some loving, and she is also going through heartbreak. She would at least be sympathetic, and she would definitely be a shoulder that Alex Kiriakis could cry on, and she would let him, I think she would comfort him. She was really tempted by Brady Black on that recent episode of Days. Remember, she was commiserating with Brady, letting him basically cry on her shoulder, but when he invited her to slide into bed with him, she tapped the brakes because she knew Kristen would freak out on her. But Kristen, I don't think, would give two damns if Ava got frisky with Alex, because Kristen was just using him as a boy toy. She didn't care about him. I could totally see a sexy cougar type of thing between Ava and Heartbroken Alex. It looks like Theresa Donovan is leaving town sometime in the next few weeks. There's nothing left for her in Salem. She may face arrest for fraud, forgery, kidnapping, if the whole thing with the Victoria Constantine things come out. And, you know, Alex seems like a borderline sex addict. He is getting help, but I would expect he goes looking for physical comfort from some woman right away, in addition to some emotional comfort. And Ava Vitali could absolutely fill the bill. She's gorgeous. She's single. She's got her own heartache she's dealing with. She's clearly still upset that Harris Michaels left town chasing Megan Hathaway. This could be a win-win. because it wouldn't be cheating for them to hook up, even though he's technically married, though I'm guessing that's going to be annulled pretty soon. I'm guessing his real dad, Justin Kiriakis, is not going to want to see him involved, though, with Ava, with Kristen, with anybody else sketchy. But the third woman that I'm about to talk about would probably be a lot more appealing to Alex's family as his rebound romance. And behind door number 3 is one of Alex's ex-girlfriends, a woman that he thought for a very long time was the woman he was meant to be with. He thought she was the love of his life. And of course, I'm talking about Stephanie Johnson. And you'll recall Stephanie is single as a Pringle right now because Bobby Stein, pretending to be Everett, dumped her. Bobby is still trying to convince everyone he's Everett and checked himself out of the psych ward, promptly dumped Stephanie and said he had to focus on his mental health. But really, Bobby's just trying to get back with Jada. And of course, Stephanie was devastated because she'd been sticking with Everett and supporting him throughout this ordeal. It really hurt. Right now, though, she thinks he doesn't want her. She and Jada are starting to suspect maybe that's not Everett, maybe it's Bobby. They don't know for sure. And she and Chad, of course, are completely done. They're in the friend zone. And if you remember, it was Stephanie who followed Alex to the park after his disastrous wedding day. She took him in her arms. She hugged him. She comforted him. And I mean, this is much more than just a bad marriage. His family was broken apart by what Theresa did. She made him think Victor was his dad and that Justin was not. Justin was a great father to him for all of his life. And I mean, let's be fair, Theresa did not make Alex behave like a jerk to his dad, Justin. That was all Alex being a narcissistic creep. He never should have stopped calling Justin dad or stopped calling Sonny his brother. Justin was his dad. He raised him and he loved him. He was there his whole life. That would be like when, if you're adopted by a loving family and they raise you and then later you meet your birth father, you wouldn't just stop calling the dad that adopted you and raised you Bob, right? You wouldn't do that. You'd keep calling them dad. Maybe you call the other birth person dad also, but you wouldn't. It's awful. Alex's awful behavior is all on him. Anyway, there are definitely bridges to mend. So Alex is angry. He's feeling guilty. He's feeling shame. He also feels betrayed. He feels stupid for falling for Theresa's lies. And he feels all alone now. Brady warned him. He didn't listen. So I actually think Stephanie is the perfect person for a rebound romance. However, I don't think she's the type that would jump right into bed with him. And that's good because that's not what he really needs. But I do think she would be willing to spend time with him, talking, comforting him. And he clearly needs to rush right over and get an appointment with Dr. Marlena Evans and do some therapeutic talking about all this that has come out because he is in a very bad headspace right now. But I can totally see him and Stephanie hanging out, it turning slowly into dating and then into romance. As long as Bobby is still controlling Everett's body, he's not going to be in the way. Of course, they are starting to figure it out, but still the whole situation's very complicated. Alex might be an easier option. And if not for that one mistake of him turning off the phone when Kayla was dying, of course, he didn't know that, they might still be together right now. And Chad's off chasing this maybe Abby person. So it might happen. We'll see. What do you guys think? Drop your comments. Which woman can help heal Alex's broken heart? Let me know what you think and subscribe if you're not following us. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.